Non-Mendelian Crosses.
What happens when Mendel's monohybrid crosses don't work? Mendel is known as the father of modern genetics. Using monohybrid crosses, he deduced the units of inheritance controlling characteristics must occur in pairs. We know them as alleles. By crossing two heterozygous parents, the results are a 3-to-1 ratio of the dominant to recessive phenotype. This outcome explains Mendel's concept of simple dominance, a form of dominance wherein the dominant allele completely masks the effects of the recessive allele in heterozygous condition. What happens when Mendel's monohybrid crosses don't work? There are occasions when we see exceptions to Mendel's monohybrid crosses, known as codominance, incomplete dominance, and sex linkage. In these situations, we don't get a 3-to-1 ratio. Codominance occurs when both alleles in a heterozygous gene pair are simultaneously expressed, meaning the offspring's phenotype is neither dominant nor recessive. For this example, we'll let a capital R represent reproducing red cattle and a capital W represent reproducing white cattle. When a homozygous red cow is crossed with a homozygous white cow, 100% of their offspring will express a codominant row and colour. Remember, there is no blending of the characteristics, but instead both alleles can be seen, showing both red and white hairs. For the speckled chickens, a capital B represents pure black chickens, and a capital W represents pure white chickens. When a pure black chicken crosses with a pure white chicken, 100% of their offspring will be a speckled pattern, where both black and white feathers are featured. Why doesn't codominance produce a simple Mendelian cross? Because a heterozygous animal doesn't give the dominant trait as it would in simple dominance.
Incomplete dominance is a process occurring in heterozygotes in which the dominant allele does not mask the effects of a recessive allele, resulting in the blending of phenotype. When a red homozygous snapdragon flower, represented by the capital letter R, is crossed with a white homozygous snapdragon flower, represented by the capital letter W, 100% of their offspring will show a pink colour, a blend of the red and white parental alleles. Why doesn't incomplete dominance produce a simple Mendelian cross? Similarly to codominance, the heterozygous organism doesn't give the dominant trait, but instead creates a third phenotype, a blending of the two alleles.
Sex linkage applies to genes that are located on the sex chromosomes, and therefore their expression and inheritance patterns differ between males and females. Some important things to know about sex linkage. Most sex-linked characteristics are recessive. As the Y chromosome is shorter, some characteristics are only carried for on the X chromosome. This means for females to express a sex-linked characteristic, she must inherit two affected X chromosomes. If not, the characteristic will be masked. For this reason, females are often carriers and sex-linked characteristics are more common in men. Thomas Hunt Morgan is an American biologist who was able to prove the chromosomal theory of inheritance through his studies of the fruit fly, thus linking the inheritance of genes to a chromosome. In his experiment, Morgan used fruit flies with the gene determining eye color on the X chromosome. As the female fly, who has two X chromosomes, she will inherit two of the eye color genes, whereas males who only have one X chromosome can only inherit one eye color gene that will determine their phenotype. If we let capital R equal to the dominant red eye color and lowercase r equal to the recessive white eyes, the following Punnett square will occur. In this example, the inheritance of color blindness is linked to the X chromosome. If we let capital N equal normal side and lowercase n equal color blindness, the following Punnett square will occur. This means 50% of males will be colorblind. Why doesn't sex linkage produce a simple Mendelian cross? Characteristics expressed by the sex-linked genes are usually associated with one sex and therefore do not produce a simple Mendelian ratio. Let's go over dominance, using an imaginary species which has a red and a blue flower. In simple dominance, where red is dominant and blue is recessive, the resulting phenotype of the offspring from a cross between two heterozygous flowers will be 75% red and 25% blue. In codominance, where neither allele is recessive, the cross between a homozygous red flower and a homozygous blue flower produces offspring with a phenotype where both red and blue petals can be seen. In incomplete dominance, the cross between a homozygous red flower and a homozygous blue flower produces offspring with a phenotype that has a blending of the two parental alleles to express a purple colour. Although sex linkage can't be included in the above example, it's important to remember that all sex-linked diseases are caused by genes located on the sex chromosomes.
Most sex-linked characteristics are recessive. Most sex-linked diseases are X-linked, and sex-linked diseases mostly affect males.